Good morning, everyone. I hope you all have had a good stitchy week. This morning I thought I would do just a couple of things. I would show you a finish for Friday, even though it's actually Saturday. I was going to do this last night, but I whacked myself in the head a little bit after hanging some bunting up, and I forgot that the hammer was still on the ladder when I moved the ladder to another spot, and the hammer slid off, whacked me on my head. I was kind of done with anything creative or useful last night, so I think I'm done with DIY for a long time. And then I was going to do the tag that Jessie Marie just presented a few days ago as to how is your video setup done and what do you do. And I think this is a great tag and it'll be very informative for a lot of people, because I know before I started I really looked and tried to figure out how to do it and what to do and what would be easiest. And in the end, it's a lot of trial and error, and eventually you find something that works really well for you and you stick with it. So that'll be second. So let's start with the first item, which is a finish for Friday. So this little pansy is one I stitched quite a while ago. I'm going to have to say in 2011 or 2010, one of those years. And it is stitched 1/1. Let's see how close I can get it. See if it still comes in focus. It is 1/1 on 28 count. I used the DMC threads. It's on a jade even weave of some sort. I forget if it is Hello Cat. Let's get everybody straightened out again. There we go. Forget if it's a Lugana or an even weave. Well, it's an even weave of some sort, but exactly what it is. So the pattern I showed you with my Pansy collection is from Kelsyn's. It's her flower series, and I only got this this one with it. It's from the, there we go, the flower series, and there's all 12 of them. And I only ever saw the pansy one, but then again, the pansy was all I was really looking for. But they look darling, and if you find them, maybe stitching them up would not be such a bad idea. There are a couple of really cute charts here that I think I would like, and I probably ought to do some looking around for the rest of them, but I've got enough to do. Alright, you are in the way. There you go. I'm not above moving the cat when she's in the way. I'm the alpha cat, not the other cat. Anyway, so I just slipped it into this little 2x3 frame. I took out the glass because that was definitely not going to work well. So I took out the glass, and then I actually just wrapped my fabric around the velvet stand, thing that fits in the back, because any cardboard or even just like using a little thin cardboard like a cereal board or anything to mount it on was just a little much. So I know it's not saved for all time and eternity or preserved super well, but it does the job just well enough for what I need it to do. And I have it sitting on one of my dressers in my bedroom, and with a few other cute little knicky knacks that I've collected from over the years. And just move that forward. So that is my finish for Friday on a Saturday. Yay! So next up was the tag that Jessie Marie presented just the other day on your videoing setup. So I took some notes, I made a video, we'll see if it fits in. I'll try to link her tag down here in the bottom if I remember. I should remember because I've got notes. But just because it's written down doesn't mean it's going to happen. So the first question is, show your setup for recording, or insert it if you can. So I took a little bit of video of my craft room and the two areas that I tend to sit up when I'm recording, and so I'll insert that right here. Alright, so here is my craft room. where I shoot all my videos, walking towards the window, so everything is, oh, just oversaturated. And there's Zoe sitting on the table where she thinks this is her spot and this is her room, and she kind of gets silly whenever I come in here because this is the princess's room. Sometimes I film facing towards the window because the light is really good coming in. It lights everything up really bright, and as you can see, I've got my tripod set up right there to do a film, and there's a little button cap lid underneath one of the legs because it doesn't sit straight, and so to get it to sit straight I have to put that lid underneath everything. And there are my notes that I took for the what is your videoing setup tag that we're doing. So I'll get to read those in a few minutes. And then if we turn over here to the corner, here's my computer desk. And when I'm doing other videos, I much prefer to face this way instead of the window. But the light isn't as good, so I've been experimenting a little bit with lamps. There's a lamp up there. I have a couple little lamps up there next to my piggy bank. There's the bunting that I hung up the other day in the craft room and accidentally let a hammer fall off the ladder and onto my noggin, so that was quite painful and not fun. When I'm doing my weekly progress updates, I put the tripod over there behind the laptop and pile all my projects and stuff onto the white table that I bring in from the living room. And there's Zoe's little cat bed that she thinks is not as good as the table. So anyway, my projects I put on my little white table, and then over here I put a box to put everything in when I'm finished with it. And I prefer filming that way because that means everybody gets to look at my pile of stuff and organization and whatnot. And so the big pinky red box is where I put all my new stash before it's filed. So I just pull out the box when when I film, and just grab out of there and call it good. That's where all the stash comes in. And I got my pink purple knobs on, and yay! And a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Lots of untamed floss. So more bunting, and got my chandelier up, and Zoe was trying to scratch her head on the tripod and make a mess of things. But that is where I video and sort of how my setup is. You didn't see the camera because I need the camera to do the recording. Anyway, back to the tag. All right, welcome back. I wrote her tag notes down here, so I'm going to be looking down a lot to read. Question 2. How did you come up with your channel name? Well, K is the first initial in my given name, and I've sort of adopted it as a name, but it makes more sense spelled out K-A-Y instead of just single initial K. And so then I just added cross stitch because that's what I was going to be showing, and that's what it is. Not too creative, pretty straightforward. That's kind of this girl. When did you post your first video to YouTube with floss tuber cross stitch intentions? 2.5, 3 weeks ago? Something like that. It really hasn't been that long, but I have been thinking about it for quite a while, quite a long time. And I actually bought my camera that I use way back a year ago in like September. So I've had the camera for a long time. So I just, we joke about there's a law in my family, and it's 5 years of planning, 5 minutes of execution. So this was kind of one of those where it was 5 years of planning. What do you use for your videos? Like I said, I bought my camera way back in September, and it is a Canon HD, I think it's a CM05, that's what it says on the top of it. So it's just a little handy cam thing that sits on a tripod, and it works pretty well. Do you record onto video software or directly to YouTube? So since I'm using a camcorder, I record it onto a memory card. And then it's easiest for me just to pull the memory card out of the camera and then slip that into my laptop. And then I will import that into a video editing software and go from there. So it's a couple step process, but it's what works for me. I understand how to work with files and stuff. And if I was using my phone, I'm not sure that I would pick up so easily how to transfer this file from phone to computer to editing software. So, question 6, do you edit? Yep, just the basic stuff. Usually I hack off a few seconds in the front and maybe a few seconds in the end, but for the most part I let the whole thing play. Sometimes I'll insert the little, well, I've learned how to do some editing, so I insert the little titles, which are kind of fun. I might have to make one for tag time. That would be fun. That's an idea. I think I'm going to go and do that as soon as I finish this. What program do I use? I will use Windows Movie Maker. It's a free download from Microsoft. Of course, they want your email so they can advertise to you for forever and ever after, but that's why I have a junk email address and they got my junk email address. Let's see, how many takes are involved in one of my videos? Or do you just record it all in one go? Well, thus far it's pretty much been all in one go. I haven't ever needed to stop and redo something because the cat's mostly behaved herself and the dog's behaved himself. I usually record when the dog's not home, otherwise he'd be over here going, "What you doing? Is there anything to eat? Are you sure there's nothing to eat? What you doing?" Anyway, he's really cute. So I haven't had like a complete mess up. It was close today when the cat knocked into the tripod when she jumped onto the table. I thought, oh, well, we'll see how this goes. We still might see how that goes when I get to the editing part of it. Let's see, number 8. If things go wrong during recording, do you stop and restart or just post it? Well, nothing horrifically has gone wrong yet, you knock on wood. So far it's just been record, do a little editing and a little trimming, and then upload it. I suppose if something went horribly majorly wrong, would restart. That's just the way it would be. From beginning of setup to video completely uploaded, about how long does it take? It takes about 2 hours after I finish filming. To do the editing and the uploading, which takes a while, but it's not too bad because usually I'm the only one on the Wi-Fi when that happens. My goodness, I need a drink of water. Since my videos are really short, less than a half hour I think has been the longest one I've gone. Since they're really short, it doesn't take that long. The longest time takes me reviewing and editing and stuff. What kind of prep do you do? I sort of do just like a bulleted list of the things I want to hit on. I'll list out my my projects and the stash and just kind of go through and make sure I hit all my points and then go from there. For this, the tag, I actually wrote down all the questions and most of my answers so I'd stay on target, stay focused, know what was going on. Usually when I'm doing the prep, in the video you saw the little white table that I bring in from the living room and set next to my desk. I'll stack things, top to bottom how I want to show them off. And so I kind of have to think and start, okay, patterns and books are flat. Those are easy to do, so those go to the bottom. Fabric is a lot more floppy, but still mostly flat, so those go next. Then flosses and needle minders, kind of on top, so I'm building this pile. And then my works in progress go on top of that. And so that's kind of how it goes. Question 11. Do you watch your own videos once published? No, I don't. I usually end up watching it twice during the editing process, trying to decide, keep this in, keep that out, where do I want to cut it, where do I want to insert something or another. So I feel like I've seen it, I know what's going on, I'm not too worried about what happens after I upload it to YouTube. Question 12. If you could change or enhance or improve your videos in any way, what would you do? Lighting. it always looks good on the viewfinder, the monitor here on my camcorder, but it usually shows up much, much darker when I get it into Windows Movie Maker. And I haven't really figured out why that is. I know the light's better when I'm facing the window like I am right now, but I don't really enjoy facing the window because I feel like I get all squinty, and I know in the viewfinder it shows I'm really washed out because, let's face it kids, I am a pale, pale child. I am so pale. I don't like it. It's hard, and I really prefer sitting on the other side of the room at my computer desk with the tripod over there. But I've noticed the problem is one half of my face is bright, the other half is really dark, and when I'm showing projects, because the walls are sort of a light purple, everything reflects to be kind of purpley pink tinged, which is unintentional. So I've started to turn on the lamp that's over by my computer, and that hasn't really helped enough. I'm thinking about, I know I've seen on Amazon, they have some light boxes that are decently priced. I'm only concerned about how big they are. You know, if I have a light box, how big is this thing? But I might drag in another lamp from the other room and maybe try another box behind my computer and put these temporary lamps on for when I record. So who knows? We'll try. It's lighting that drives me the most crazy. Share any other tidbits or funny stories that I might have. Well, I'm so new that I really haven't had a lot of funny stories or mishaps or, oh goodness gollies, you know, things like that. Just today the cat decided to jump up on the table and rub her head against the tripod because she was feeling neglected, but I will go and give her hugs in a couple minutes and scratch her ears because that's what she really likes. Or I think it was my third video when she had jumped up into the one of the bins in the storage unit and had sort of presided over the proceedings from there. That was pretty funny when I saw that, and I really started to laugh out loud. So 13 questions, that's everything for Jessie Marie's video setup tag. I don't know what to call it. She didn't name it anything. Well, she probably did name it something, and I was too much of ditz to actually think about writing it down because, you know, that would be intelligent, right? Right? So let's see. This past week was good. I stitched on some stuff, but not nearly enough stuff because I was working on hanging up the bunting and my cute little chandelier. And I was attacked by the hammer, as I mentioned before, and the tape measure. Both fell off the thing and whacked me on the head. It's the wrong side. It's actually over here where I got whacked on the head. I should not be allowed to DIY, you guys. I just shouldn't. And I put the new knobs on the storage unit, so those are bright and sparkly. And I put in the what was it? Oh, the shelf liner in my drawers, and that works great. I'm so excited for that. Today I get to run, and so there won't be much stitching because I have to go get the oil changed in the car, and then I get to meet with some good friends of mine for lunch, so we'll have a good time, and then it's time for a haircut and color at 2, and then probably go over to my parents' house and see what's going on over there in the afternoon and probably have dinner with them, and then I might eventually make it back home and maybe I'll get to do some stitching. I don't know, or tame some more of the floss that's in the crazy box over there or something. But, oh, it's July, and you know what that means. Tour de France is on! Woo! We've been watching it all week, and my boy Cavendish, he's doing all right. He's doing all right. Although, did you see today's stage? Chris Froome, man, he had a breakaway, made it in. He's going to be in the yellow tomorrow. That was a great ride this afternoon. Contador nearly missed a crash, so that was pretty good for him. He's having kind of a hard tour so far, but anyway, yeah, Tour de France, woo! Boys on bikes, yay! Anyway, so that's everything for this video. Thank you so much for subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate that. It just, you know, brings a smile to my face. So thank you so much. I hope all your stitching dreams come true and that the frog stays far, far away from your house. Hugs and stitches. Bye.